All right, the theme of tonight's class, we're going to focus on our lymphatic and immune systems. And, you know, we got the COVID and everything rebounding everywhere. So I thought it'd be kind of pertinent. And we're going to do this with twists. We have these lymph nodes all along our spines, in our neck, in our groin, armpits, and then at the bends of your elbows and knees as well. And, you know, squeezing these nodes helps to drain excess fluid from tissue and all along the lymphatic tracts that run all through your tissue. And that reduces inflammation and also helps to send immune cells all around your body so you can better fight infection. And if you do get sick, have it not be as big of a deal. So we are going to start in, I know this is going to come as a shock to all of you, but we are starting in child's pose. So come to your mat with your toes together, knees wide, and go ahead and drop right in. Bring your forehead to the mat and keep your eyes open so you can focus your blurry gaze, your drishti, right on the mat, right underneath you. As you begin to deepen your breaths, focusing on matching your inhales to your exhales, take note of the texture of the ground underneath you, the texture of your mat under your fingertips, how it feels on the tops of your feet and on your toes, the quality of your weight settling in your knees, the heels of your hands, all of your little base knuckles, and your forehead. With an inhale, lift your right hand up to the ceiling, pressing your hips back to counterbalance the movement. And then exhale, thread the needle underneath your left armpit and come to rest with your shoulder on the ground. Look up at the ceiling underneath your left armpit. You can either stay here with your arm up straight, pressing your hips back, or reach your left arm to your right hip crease and take a bind. No matter where you are, open your heart through your shoulders and continue twisting to look up at the ceiling. Release and come to center. And then with an inhale, lift your left hand up. And on an exhale, thread the needle underneath your right armpit to come to rest on your left shoulder with your gaze underneath your right armpit up at the ceiling. And leave your arms straight or take a bind, reaching for your left hip crease. Release and come to center. And press up to downward facing dog. You can pedal your dog out a little bit. Get a sense for where you might be holding some tightness and tension in your legs. And then step your feet about 6 inches to a foot closer to your hands so that you have your heels on the ground or almost on the ground here. Pick your belly in and up to shoot your hip bones high. And then pressing down through your left hand, take your right and reach it for the back of your left ankle. And twist underneath your armpit to look up at the ceiling. If this feels a little bit odd, it is. We're not in this position very often. And then go ahead and release. And pressing down through your right hand, reach for the outside of your right ankle with your left hand and turn and look at the ceiling. Just a little bit of a different twist, a new challenge for our minds. Then release your left hand down and walk to the top of your mat for a ragdoll. Capture your opposite elbows with the other hand Then lift and spread your toes, experimenting with rocking your weight back and forth and side to side, matching all the movements that feel good to you with your breath. Release that mind and heel toe your feet together. And inhale, roll all the way up to standing, reaching high overhead, pressing down through your heels to find a little bit more lift in your hips. And then bring your hands to heart center. And we'll open with our big ol' first a breath in and out. And now our Inhale, reach up, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, rolling your upper arm bones back. And then step back into your high plank. Hug your muscles in and press out through your heels as you drag the heels of your hands back toward your hips to light up your whole core and all your legs. And then take your right foot and thread it underneath your left to come up into wild thing. Press through the edges of your feet and lift the front of your pelvis up to bring your shoulder tips together on your back and open your heart to the ceiling. Inhale and reach up, and exhale, come back to your plank. Inhale here to hug in, and then thread your left foot under your right, and inhale up into wild thing on the left. Bring the front of your pelvis up and open your heart to the ceiling. And let your head fall back here. One more big inhale up. And then come to your high plank and push back to downward facing dog. And then we'll start our sunays to warm up, one breath per movement. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump to your hands. Inhale to halfway lift, reaching your spine long. And exhale to fold. Inhale, rise up, go up and look between your hands. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump to your hands. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, rise up, lift the front of your pelvis up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step or jump back, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. And push back to downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Press through your heels to rise up, lifting your side bodies up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale, step or jump back, high to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale to down dog. We'll flow through one more of those. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, rise up, kick your ribs up, reach toward the ceiling. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step or jump back, high plank to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. And then stepping into our sun bees, starting to warm up our thighs and our hips. Get a little bit more core integration. And here we go. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump to your hands. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Hips go low and chest comes high. Come up into chair pose. And squeeze your abs in as you sink lower into your chair. Look up to the ceiling to find a back bend. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, spine comes long. And exhale, step or jump back, high to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward. Inhale up into your warrior one. Wiggle your feet a little bit farther apart from each other. And inhale the front of your pelvis up so you can hug your hips in and sink lower into your front foot. Inhale, go up and look it back. And exhale your hands to the mat, high to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale to down dog. Left foot steps forward. Inhale to come up. And wiggle your feet a little farther apart. You can pick the front of your pelvis up so you can hug your hips in and sink lower into your front foot. A wider stance and also a longer stance can lead you in a little bit more discovery about your hip mobility here. Inhale and look up, reach up, and exhale your hands to the mat. High plank to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to down dog. And let's do a few of those sun bees with our 1 breath per movement. Our vinyasa practice to wake all of our blood up. Make sure we're warmed up for the rest of class, which is not hard when it's as hot out today as it is. Inhale, look forward. Exhale to step or jump to your hands. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale your hips low and arms high into chair, bringing your gaze up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale, step or jump back, high plank to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to down dog. Right foot steps forward, come up with your inhale, linking breath to movement, and exhale your hands to the mat, flow high to low. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward, root to rise, inhale and come up, and exhale your hands to the mat, high to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to down dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale to step or jump to your hands. Inhale to halfway lift, and exhale to fold. Inhale your chest up, hips low, gaze comes up, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale, step or jump back, high plank to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to down dog. Right foot steps forward, inhale up into your warrior one, and exhale, come down, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to down dog. Left foot steps forward, inhale to come up, warrior one, reaching up, and exhale your hands to the mat. High to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to downward facing dog. 2 more of these. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump to your hands. Inhale to halfway lift, and exhale to fold. Inhale, come up into chair for just 1 breath, and exhale, melt down. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale, step or jump back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, warrior one, pick your pelvis up out of your hips, and exhale your hands to the mat, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, down dog. Left foot steps forward, inhale up, think light as you reach up. Exhale your hands to the mat. high to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale, down dog. Heading into our final lap of the sun bee track. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump to your hands. Inhale to halfway lift, and exhale to fold. Hips low, hands high, come up into your chair, that strong chair. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, reach up with your warrior one, maybe even find a back bend. Exhale your hands to the mat, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, down dog. Left foot steps forward, inhale to come up, reach up, look back. Exhale your hands to the mat, flow high to low. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward to meet your right hand. Press down through both of your heels and hug your outer hips in to feel that lift. And then raise your right hand up into an easy twist. And then pushing through both of your hands, or both your feet, stand all the way up. So you're in an open twist toward your right. Reach out for both of your fingertips, and then inhale, come to center in your crescent lunge, sinking low, and exhale, open up into your warrior two. Bring the front of your pelvis up so you can engage your right hamstring and sink lower. And then inhale, come back to center, crescent lunge, and exhale, twist open to your right. Getting a little bit of a little fluid movement in there, warming everything up. You can stay here, pressing out through both of your feet, hugging those inner thighs in, or you can bring your back knee to the ground if you want a little bit more focus on the twist itself. And then inhale, come back to center. And then open back up to our warrior two. It's our second time we've been here. So pick the front of your belly up and move your right hip underneath you and lean down into that front leg. And flip your right hand and go up and back. And exhale, come down into your extended side angle. Reaching forward with your left hand. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Turning your right one up to the ceiling and your left one back behind you. This opposing force will make you grow lighter so you're able to stay in your extended side angle. You can stay here or go for your bind. No matter where you are, continue to reach forward with your chest and turn to look up at the ceiling. On an inhale, come back up to your warrior two, and then exhale, cartwheel down, high to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward, low runner's lunge. Press out through both of your heels and hug your outer hips in so that your upper body grows light and you can extend forward. Then peel your left hand up in an easy twist. Hug those outer hips in and draw your left one back and push your right one forward to give yourself the space to open up fully. Pressing down through both of your feet, stand all the way up and extend your arms open in an open face twist to the left. Inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, open up into your warrior two. Swing your left butt cheek under you. Picking the front of your pelvis up so that you can sink down into your right leg. Inhale, come back up to your crescent lunge. And exhale, hands to heart center, twisting open to the left. Putting the easy twist first gives us a chance to experience what this is like without all of the hubbub of figuring out how strong your legs are. It's just another way to warm up gradually versus jumping right in. Sometimes we like to jump right in. Sometimes it's good to get a little extra motion in the old spine beforehand. Inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, open up into our second warrior two on the left. Pick your quads up in order to integrate your hips and sink low onto your left leg. Flip your left palm, go up and back. And then exhale, come into your extended side angle, reaching your right hand forward. Inhale and turn your chest to look up at the ceiling, squeezing your thighs together to give you that extra lift. And then, if it's calling to you, go ahead and take that bind on this side as well. No matter where you are, continue to press down through your heels and turn to look up at the ceiling. And inhale, come back up to your warrior two. And exhale, cartwheel down to the ground, high to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, dragging those heels back towards your hips. And exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump to your hands. Inhale to halfway lift, separating your ribs and your hips. And exhale to fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. And exhale, come into eagle on the right side. Bring your right arm underneath your left and your right leg over your left. And spread the toes on both of your feet as you bring your elbows up in line with your shoulders. With a straight flat back, begin to hinge from your hips and fold over so you crunch with your elbows to knees. And then inhale, stand all the way back up. And exhale, crunch. And inhale, come up. Or if you're going a little slower than my counts, that's great. Just keep working toward it. And exhale, elbows to knees. And inhale to come all the way up. And then release. Stand all the way up. And then exhale, come into eagle on the left, dropping in right away before you have a chance to think about it or compare how you think it's going to go, given what happened on the right. Inhale to straighten your spine and bring your elbows in line with your shoulders. Then exhale, start to crunch over with a flat back. And inhale to sit all the way up. And exhale to crunch with that flat back. And inhale to come up. And then finally, one more. Exhale to crunch down. And inhale, come all the way up. That ab control, that's what we're going for. And then release, stand all the way up. Raise your hands to the ceiling. Look up, pick the front of your pelvis up, pick your ribs up. Grow super long. And then exhale, hug in to forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. And then plant your hands down. Now wiggle your feet apart. I wasn't going to say crow. We're going to do a malasana squat. So toes out, hands between your hips. Ooh, I have to pop a hip. There we go. That's actually a good thing to mention there. So Sometimes I come into a squat and it feels like I have an air bubble or something that could stand to move or pop in one of my hips. And I go ahead and take care of that and then return to my squat. It's a lot more comfortable. There's no reason to stay in pain for any of this. And release your left hand down and raise your right hand up, pressing through your feet so you can extend that hand up and look up with it. Then you can either take a bind behind you and try to reach around with your left hand and meet it, or you can just stay with your arm up, pressing your left hip open and extending out through your right shoulder. And then exhale, bring your right hand down, center for just a moment, and then place your right hand down and extend your left up. You can try for that bind if it felt good on the other side, or you can just press through your feet and feel the opening effect on your hips and your shoulder, but just adding this little bit more intensity into your squat. Yeah, I'm gonna stay open today. And then exhale, come back down to your squat. Press through your feet and come into a forward fold. And take a ragdoll briefly here. And rock into your toes, into your heels. Sway back and forth. And notice any differences from that first ragdoll that we took right at the very beginning of class. There's more awareness to your obliques. You can feel the bottom of your feet more. Is it more of a resting posture, less of a resting posture? Just try that on. And then release your hands down, heel toe your feet together, and inhale on up into chair. Reach your hands forward and sink your hips backward by pressing your heels into the ground and raising your gaze to the ceiling. And bring your hands to heart center and twist to the right. Press your hips back and stretch your toes forward to give yourself the room to twist and look up at the ceiling. And there's an option here to level up and take your side crow. Your hands on the ground and your right leg on your left elbow. And release. Come back to center. Sit, keep sitting low in your chair. Then bring your hands to heart center and twist to the right. Press your hips back and extend your toes forward so you can bring your heart above where your hands are pressing as you look up at the ceiling. An option to stay here and work on your chair twist or come into your side crow. This time with your left thigh on your right elbow. Then release and come to center. Stay in your chair, stay with me. Look up, pick your chest up a little bit more, and then exhale, forward fold. Take either gorilla or Padangusthasana, the peace sign fingers to toes. Whichever one is your favorite, whichever forward fold. And continue to match your inhales with your exhales or come back to your breath and extend the crown of your head toward the ground. Release your feet. Heel toe your feet together. And inhale all the way up to standing. Bring your arms overhead. Roll your thighs back behind you and pick the front of your pelvis up. And then bring your right knee into your chest. Bring your left hand to the outside of your right knee and reach your right hand back for dancing Shiva. Woo, which is apparently complex today. Cool. Every time you're wobbling and bobbling and finding your edge, you're in such a complete learning. And the more you fall out when you're doing this yoga stuff, the more you know you're actually still testing yourself and finding your edge and continuing the evolution in your practice. It's kind of like sometimes when we work out, we try to avoid getting sore from it. And getting sore is just your muscles being trained up. There is always going to be some soreness in working out. There's a lot of soreness in not working out too. Come to the center and put your right foot down. Inhale, ground your feet down to lift up out of your hips, extending up. Then bring your left knee up into your chest. And bring your right hand to the outside of your left knee. Opening up with your left arm behind you into dancing Shiva. Just as complex on this side, if not more. Ooh. What I'm using to recover from my own wobbles and bobbles is to deepen my breath, stop talking for a second, and use my breath, and also to hold my gaze on one point. And as I become more comfortable in my twist, I'm walking my gaze back, and not losing focus, but just walking it a little bit farther back, pause, a little farther back, pause, until I find my drishti back on my left thumb. I'll tell you this, I like a hell of a lot more being sore from yoga than I do from just like sitting down too much and getting stiff from not moving. Release and come to center. Inhale, lift up, look up. And then exhale, hug into forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, pulling your chest through your hands, or through your shoulders. Roll those upper arm bones back. Really extend. Tuck your chin to make the back of your neck long and press your hips back to bring your ribs up out of your hips. And then exhale, bring your hands to the mat. Step back, high plank to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, rolling those upper arm bones back again. Feeling that big stretch on your hip flexors as you drag the heels of your hands back toward your hips. Look up, inhale, and then exhale, bring your hips high to downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and inhale up into a warrior one. Wiggle your feet farther apart. Inhale up and exhale, open up into your warrior two. Drive down through your left heel to activate your left glute and swing that forward. And bring your right glute underneath you so you can reach your right shin toward the wall in front of you. And inhale, go up and back and straighten your right leg. And exhale, come down into triangle pose. Press down through both of your heels to get that hip integration so you can reach your back ribs up away from your pelvis and turn to look up at your left thumb. Roll your right shoulder onto your spine so they're stacked on top of one another and promotes that big opening as you continue to look up and breathe. Talk about a pose that gets the lymph system. We're squeezing our groins. We've got some armpit action. Our neck is twisting. Our whole spine is involved. I love triangle. Doesn't always agree with me, but it's one of my favorite poses. And press down through both of your heels to stand all the way up. Turn your toes in and take a forward, wide-legged forward fold. Option here to try some of your inversions and place into your tripod headstand, placing your hands shoulder width apart and bringing the crown of your head down to the ground. Or to take your favorite version of this pose. Reaching for your toes, reaching behind you, whatever's calling you here. All right, we're gonna take a brief inversion. With the flat back, rise all the way up. Turn your toes to face the front of your mat and step your left foot in to set up for pyramid pose. Press through both of your heels and reach up. Then exhale, start to fold, reaching forward as you do so until you come down. Your fingertips touch the mat. You can hang on the crown of your head, extending the back of your neck long by tucking your chin. Breathing into your back ribs. Inhale to halfway lift, pressing your tailbone back and up, and then peel your right hand open to reach for the ceiling. Roll your left shoulder blade into your back to give you the room to open up even more in your revolved triangle, squishing all of those little nodes, sending your lymph fluid around your body, making your immune system super strong, even if you don't have a spleen. And then exhale your hands to the mat. Take a high plank to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, dragging the heels of your hands back towards your pelvis. And exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward and come up to your warrior one on an inhale. Wiggle your feet apart and press through your heels to lift up out of your pelvis. And exhale, open up into your warrior two. Extend your left shin toward the wall in front of you by squeezing your thighs together and driving down through your right heel to fire up that glute. Propel you forward. The more you work your legs here, the easier this pose becomes, ironically. Inhale, go up and back, straightening your left leg. And exhale, come in to your triangle pose on the left. Continuing to press to the four corners of both feet, tucking your left glute underneath you and opening up by rolling your left shoulder onto your back and looking up to the ceiling. And fold over your left foot and step your right one in to come into a pyramid pose. This time, take a bind, whether you're holding your hands behind you, clasping your opposite elbows, or taking your reverse namaste behind you. Take some sort of bind, roll your shoulder bones back to open up your chest, and then hinge forward from the hips, and let the crown of your head drop down last. Tuck your chin to open up your cervical spine. Really find a stretch there. And then release your bind, bringing your fingertips to the ground. Press through your fingers to deepen your fold. And notice the difference between taking a bind and doing it the traditional way. What works for you, what works in your body, how that feels today. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Bring your tailbone up and back by hugging your abs in, and then lift your left hand up to the ceiling, peeling open to a revolved triangle. Tuck your right shoulder blade into your spine to give yourself that extra little lift to really revolve open and look up at your left fingernail. Inhale, lift up one more time, open your chest, and exhale, bring your hands to the mat. High plank to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to downward facing dog. Step your feet 6 inches to a foot up your mat once more. Take that little short down dog. This time pressing through your right hand. Reach for your right ankle with your left hand and turn and look up under your pit again. See if this is any different, easier, harder, or just different than it was at the beginning of class. Then bring your left hand to the mat and press firmly through your left hand and bring your right hand to the outside of your left ankle, turning to look under your armpit, finding some spot on the ceiling to look at. And then bring your right hand down and walk your feet back into a high plank. And come down on your forearms for a low plank. Knit your front ribs together. Pull your elbows back toward your toes and pull the balls of your feet toward your elbows to light up your core. And then bring your left arm in at a right angle to your right arm. And roll on the side of your left foot, inhaling your right arm up for a side plank on your forearm. Lift your hips up. Look up, open up your chest, and then bring your right hand back to the mat. And come into your low forearm plank again. Hug everything in by dragging your elbows and your toes together. Then bring your right hand to a right angle to your left forearm. Roll onto the outside of your right foot. That's what those things are. Come up into a side plank on this side. Lift your hips high. Extend your chest and open up to the ceiling. And then come back to your forearm plank. Now raise up to your high plank. Come to your forearm plank one more time. Come up to your high plank. And then lower 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way in your tummy. Place either ear on the mat and take a belly shavasana. This is a great place to match your inhales with your exhales again if you lost track of that. Also a really good place to be in the discipline of using your breath in that way. You can switch and put the other ear on the mat. Especially after you've been working hard, or maybe you've gotten some twists where our heart rate gets going a little bit, some unexpected side planks that we thought we got away with without doing earlier in practice. And it's a big discipline to take control of your breath and do long, slow ones versus panting until you feel okay enough to start in your long breath. Go ahead and kick your ankles up and take a floor bow. And kick back to peel up. Scoop the front of your pelvis up and engage your quads to lift all your ribs up. Because really when our breath is going to be the most useful for us isn't when we're already calm. It's being able to make that transition from being all panicky, can release and spin the other ear to the ground, from being all panicky and being that really rapid breath mode and coming right into your ujjayi breath again. And come into a second floor bow, capture your ankles, really kick. Squeeze the insides of your knees closer together and roll your upper arm bones back to really get a stretch across the front of your chest and across your biceps, which is great if you've been gardening and shoveling a lot of dirt lately. Kick and look up. And then exhale, release. Windshield wiper your knees or your legs back and forth. Find that juicy release in your low back. And then pancake asana, flip on over into a bridge. Bring your knees in for just a second and walk your feet wide to the edges of your mat. That'll bring a nice release to your low back that may have gotten a little angry at trying some eagle crunches or doing too many chairs, holding our spine out in triangle. If our alignment, I get that one, my alignment's a little off, I'll get pinched. And then wiggle your feet back under and press firmly through your heels and then firmly through your toe ball mounds, stretching your toes out on the mat and peel your pelvis up into bridge. Turn your palms so they're facing up to the ceiling, or grab for your knuckles behind your back and reach your knuckles toward your heels to really find some lift in your chest as well. And release all the way down. Big inhale, big exhale, and then come on up into your second bridge. Take an opposite grip and reach your knuckles towards your heels with the funny thumb on top, reaching your inner knees closer together and your toes away from your heels to fire up all of your leg. Find a big long lift, generating space in your low back. And then exhale, come all the way down. Bring your hands by your ears and set up for wheel. And wheel can look like bridge. And also, even if you're going into bridge, it's a great step to get toward wheel by placing your hands in the wheel position and avoiding any sweat marks that's going to make you skid out from underneath you. And press down to rise. Inhale, come on up into wheel. Reach your chest toward the ground and inhale your hips high by pressing your toes away from your heels, really extending your feet on the mat. Inhale, press up higher, and exhale to release. And set up for your second wheel without thinking too much. Just come on up. And exhale, release down. We've got two more of these beauties. Hug your low abs in and press up into wheel. Bring your shoulder tips together on your back so your heart can open up and you can straighten your arms a little bit more. And exhale, come all the way down. I used to think, why does the Baptiste style have so many wheels? I just want to do one and be done, like, two. And I've really grown to love them. And the reason I didn't like them was because my shoulders were tight and my hips were tight and I didn't know how to do them. And now that I know how to do them, it's great. And yeah, I'm sure there's a lesson in there somewhere, but I'm not feeling it. So let's come on up into our last wheel. Inhale up. Hug your outer hips in to send your pelvis even higher to the ceiling, pressing down firmly into the ground to find lift in other parts of your body. And then exhale, release, come all the way down. Bring your feet together and press them together behind you for a Supta Konasana. Lift your back ribs up off your pelvis and find that one spot to look at the ceiling. Feel your spine long and your hips light open and a nice release. Bring your feet up and capture the outside edges for a happy baby. Roll out your low back on the ground. Kick your heels back and forth. Whatever feels good and provides a bit of a release in this pose. What did I have planned for abs today? Ooh, I did not have a plan for abs today. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to work on our low abs again. So extend your heels up to the ceiling. Bring the front of your pelvis up. And exhale all your air out. Feel your belly seal in. And then start to breathe into your ribs. So you've got that low belly already sealed. And then lower your right leg all the way to the ground. Inhale and switch. Exhale, hold. Inhale, switch. Exhale to hold. Get those low ribs again. And let's continue to switch. Kicking out with your legs. Sealing that low back on the ground. We're going to leave our upper body alone to focus on that lowest part of our abs. And that's our foundation for our twists. It's how we lift up out of our pelvis. And it's how we are able to use our thighs and our hammies to get that hip integration that's so foundational to not only yoga, but to really like being comfortable. We sit a lot. Even when we're standing, we're depending on those hips. We want to have the strong muscles all around them so that we don't have to be crunching into our little hip joints or in our balls of titanium or whatever robot legs you have today. Extend your heels all the way up to the ceiling and lower them 30 degrees. Inhale long, lower them 60 degrees. Inhale long, and then bring them just to hover. And now pick your head, neck, and shoulders up and reach with your left hand. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, reach with your right hand. We're crunching our obliques. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. 2 more. So reach to the left. Come to center. Reach to the right. Come to center. Reach to the left. Come to center. Right, center, and then bring your knees into your chest. And roll your lower back out. And start to rock and roll. And rock and roll. And come into half pigeon on the left. Let's do opposite one first. Press out firmly through your foot, flexing your toes back toward your knee. And then fold over your shin. Inhale deep into your hips and extend your low ribs away from your pelvis. And then find something to relax with each breath you take. Gently press on up and switch your legs, bringing your right shin forward, flexing your right toes back toward your shin, sending your left leg long and then folding over. Inhale your ribs up away from your pelvis, then exhale to melt down. Once again, using your breath to identify where you might be able to relax in this pose. Using all the contact points of the ground, all that grounding for good. And press up all the way to a seat. Extend your feet long in front of you. Move your goods out from underneath your sit bones. And inhale your hands high. And exhale, come into a forward fold. Inhale, roll all the way up. And bring your right foot to the outside of your left thigh. And your left arm to the outside of your right knee for our seated twist. Looking over your right shoulder. An also option to bring your left foot in to intensify and tuck in right by your butt there. No matter what you're doing, ground your sit bones down and lift your chest high as you twist. Use your breath to find the parts of your body that can expand, even in this crunched up little position. And then release your twist. Give your legs a good little smack to get the blood in them again. And bring your left foot to the outside of your right thigh. And your right elbow to the inside of your left leg for your seated twist. Woo, I got a cramp on the inside of my thigh. That was funny. And turn to look over your left shoulder. An option to intensify by bringing your right leg in towards your butt. Wrinkling your yoga mat up because it's so sweaty. Then release, come to center. And take a brief inversion, whether it's shoulder stand or headstand or just legs up the wall with your hands tucked under your butt. Just get your blood flowing and your lymph flowing, since that's our theme, in a different direction. And shift your perspective for just a moment. We did some looking up at the ceiling earlier in class. And this is a different way to catch that perspective, just like we did in our down dog, that funny little down dog. And if you're in shoulder stand, come into a plow pose. Or even if you're not, if you feel like you're going to plow, kick into plow. Squeeze those hips one more time. Press through your feet to lift your tailbone high. And bring your knees by your ears into a deaf man's pose. And then roll all the way onto your back. And prepare for a final supine twist. Let's go left side first in this one too. Bring your left knee into your armpit. And bring your left knee or leg over the right. And turn to look over your left shoulder. Wiggle your shoulder blades underneath you to open your chest more and get a bigger twist. Release, come to center and switch sides. Bring your right knee up into your armpit. Give it a squeeze. Then bring it over to the left. Looking over your right shoulder and locking your shoulder blades underneath you once again to really open your chest up in this twist. Release, come to center. Give everything one last giant tight squeeze. And then release into your final Shavasana. taking up space on your mat, and coming to total rest as you allow the earth to hold you up. Start to bring some small movements back to your body. And reach your arms up overhead. And point your toes, get all kinds of long. And keeping your eyes closed, roll onto your right or left side. Cradling your head on your arm. And still with your eyes closed, come up to a comfortable seat. And bring your hands to heart center. We'll close with one more Om. Take a big inhale and exhale first. And then we Om. Inhale your thumbs to your third eye center. The light in me bows to the light in each one of you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Woohoo. Woohoo.
Very nice flow.
Good Thursday.